Hello, I'm Bunnery.
I'm Breadmower.
And this is IFXtra. So how is everyone this week? Are you okay? What have we been up to? We've had quite a busy week, haven't we?
They're all busy weeks.
Yeah, I actually got to do a quiz at work. How cool is that? That's a cool job.
It's like you've had lots of practice.
I have, yeah. So what have you been working on this week?
Mixture of things. So I was hoping to be sort of getting an app update out, but without going into technical details, there's an issue with testing things on the iPhone at the moment, and I need to wait for a bug fix on a developer tool before I can do that. And so I could sort of do some stuff on Android and then put that out, but I really wanted to get into keeping those two in sync, like Android and iPhone. So I'm just sort of holding off that and sorting out some other bits and pieces off my to-do list. So one of which is related to challenges. So those of you who've been around for a while will know we've been doing these monthly challenges for a few months now, where Ferret comes up with an idea like draw something using just a grayscale palette, draw something using only dots, draw something with a secret cat hidden in it.
Secret cat, that's my favourite.
I know, that was very cool, very popular. So two things regarding challenges. So one, Secret Cat was last month's challenge, and then Ferret was having wisdom tooth surgery at the start of this month, and so like everything was running late with that, and she didn't want to do a challenge midway through the month that you'd only have 2 weeks to work on, you know, rather than the normal month. So what we've done instead is extend the Secret Cat challenge.
More cats.
So yeah, more cats. Everybody loves cats. It's the internet. So if you'd like to try and hide a cat in a drawing, go for that. Just choose challenges from the list of games on the website or the app. But also, I'm testing a new challenge thing on the website where, in addition to the monthly challenge, you can also choose to play games with specific other challenges on. So the idea with these is, rather than being ones that we need to review, like, you know, Secret Cat, we have to look at all of them and, you know, check there is a cat, which was quite difficult. Things like grayscale palette or only draw using dots, we can kind of make that happen by tinkering with the canvas. So I've done this with a few test challenges. So what you'll find is there's a couple of games knocking around which are accessible on the web, where there's some that are restricted to a grayscale palette, some that are restricted to only drawing with dots, and there's also Turbo, where you have half the drawing time, so you only get 5 minutes, so you know you've got to get a move on. And supporters are able to create games with a challenge on them. So you can choose from these ones that we've set up, those 3 at the moment. And
but anyone can play them?
Start a game. Yeah, anyone can play them.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
Supporters can start them. Because, you know, that's a supports perk. If you would like to be able to do that stuff, there's a link on the play page when you try and create one. Just saying, you know, it helps us keep the game running, etc. But more on that later. So yeah. So we're testing it on the website. It's not in the app yet, partially because I want to test it and see if it actually works, and partially because of this thing that I've just mentioned, saying that we're sort of a little bit blocked with app updates at the minute. But yeah, it seems to be working quite well. But I'll be interested to see the first finished game come out of it.
Cool.
I suspect these will take a little bit longer to go through because of fewer people having access to them, etc., etc. But if you do get a chance, it'd be very cool if you could press the challenge button on the website and just try one of them in there. Yeah.
Cool.
And I think that's it.
Okay, really. Right. Now it's time to see who won this week's awards. Picture of the week this week goes to Carabita for Sneaky Pug. I just love that little corner pug there popping out with his shady shades on. That's brilliant. It made me laugh. Well done, Carabita.
My favourite description this week was Legosaurus peeking into Lego Duck's window by Darapow. Now I like this one because it's one of those where there's a perspective flip. Originally it was actually a bird peering in through a window looking at a Christmas tree, but Darapow's flipped that round into a dinosaur peering in on a duck. Just shows how it's sometimes difficult to establish exactly what the perspective is. Nice work, Darapow.
community pick of the week this week goes to Epic Eyebrows for Magic Doggo hanging out with a fishy. Both are brown. Definitely brown. That fish is kind of wondering what's happening, but the doggo is having a great time. That's wonderful. Well done, Epic Eyebrows. They were amazing.
Awesome stuff there, as always.
Now we're going to see what we were talking about last week in the forums. So, last week I said, what is the most impressive magic trick you've ever seen? Could be on TV or in real life. Tell us about it. And 9% said, David Copperfield did an illusion in 1992 where he flew and levitated around the stage. He even flew while inside a clear box. It's one of the best tricks of all time. And I'm still talking about that amazing trick 30 years later.
I remember that happening. And people were like...
I remember he made like whole bridges and buildings disappear.
Did he make...
Wasn't the Golden Gate Bridge or something?
Yeah, the Golden Gate Bridge or something like that, which was pretty impressive.
I know, yeah.
I was going to say the most impressive thing I've seen was up close,
very
close.
Yeah, it was.
There's a magic act in the UK, Morgan and West. They're time traveling Victorian magicians.
Yeah.
Just go with it. They're very cool though, and we've seen them quite a few times. We saw them up at the Edinburgh Fringe the first time. I always remember how we got into that was we were just walking down the street. Those of you who haven't been to the Edinburgh Fringe, it's basically like
rammed,
absolutely heaving, and there's like hundreds of shows on, and like people are just giving out flyers and like, oh, come see my show, come see my show, come see my show, and you just sort of get these flyers and you're like, yeah mate, sure, and then just like stick them in your pocket. And we were walking down the street, us and my friend who's up in Edinburgh, and we were walking down the street, and then there was just this guy who just seemed totally out of place in all this like very elegant Victorian garb. And everyone else is like waving flyers around and shouting and things. And he was just stood there pretty much silently. And like he had his hands out in front of him. And I was like, oh, what's going on here? And then I blinked. And then he had like this card in his hand, like a business card in his hand. That it was not there, and then it was there, and then he sort of just gave it to me, and it was advertising a show, time traveling Victorian magicians, such and such a time in such a place, and we were like, okay, yes, we have to go and see that.
Yeah, we did.
We saw them; they're very cool.
We've seen them locally as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we've seen them locally. We've seen them 3 or 4 times now, really.
Yeah.
But yes, getting to the point because that was massive digression.
Yeah.
I've been on stage with them when they were here locally because they needed a volunteer from the audience, and it was all to do with like one of these things where they gave me an envelope with nothing in. I think it was like a sealed envelope that I had in my trouser pocket, and I had to pick a word out of a book, and then. And then some stuff happened, but the key part was I picked this word out of the book. It was out of Harry Potter, and I'm like, okay, well they're going to be going for like a word that happens a lot, and the door, whatever. I'll go for something that's like a bit odd. I'll go for muggle, and then stuff happens, and they asked me to take this envelope out of my pocket. And it's been in my trouser pocket, and like no one's been touching it or anything. It's been in my trouser pocket, and I know it's been in my trouser pocket. Before the beginning
of the trick.
And yeah, so I take this envelope out. They're like, open it, and I'm like, okay, I will open the empty envelope, and then in there, the torn out page of the book with the word like Muggle highlighted and Muggle written across the page in marker pen, and I'm like.
What?
And it was the page that I'd chosen.
The word from, yeah.
And it was in my pocket. Because you watch these things. Sorry, this is going to be a long video. You watch these things and you're like, oh yeah, okay, that guy's obviously in on it, or that guy's a noob, and they've obviously just sort of switched the envelope without him realizing. And no, I was paying attention, and like.
You had a free choice of word when you were looking through the book. Yeah. Weird, isn't it?
But yeah. So it was very impressive, and I couldn't see how it was done, and I was literally there. It was it was good. It was really good.
Yeah. So if you've got any cool stories like that, there's still time to put that in the forum. But now we're going to see what we're talking about this week. in the general discussions. Maybe it's something that makes you look cool, or something so comfy that you never want to take it off. What is currently your favourite item of clothing? I love my black polo neck jumper. I feel it's very chic and French looking. Or my Marks and Spencer's grey hoodie, as it is just so soft.
If you'd like to chime in with that, just head over to the general discussion forum. It's the pinned thread for the week, so you'll find it at the top of the thread list.
Cool. Now, don't forget, tomorrow night is Sunday night. That's quiz night, and it's Zeitgeist, the quiz with 5 rounds of 5 different topics.
Yep, if you've not seen this before, every Sunday night at 7 p.m. UK over on twitch.tv/interference, we run Zeitgeist, the interference quiz of the week. It's a live interactive quiz stream where you play along against the rest of the audience, competing for points and places on the leaderboard.
Would you like to know who won this week?
Go on.
Well, last Sunday, it was Grinning Goose who won with 230. Darth was, oh no, it was a joint first. Darth and Goose won 230. Dakesh was second with 220, as was Cheyenne was second with 220. And then third was Insane Hang Time with 212. That's a newbie as well.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, it was really close. Joint first and joint second.
Yeah.
That's kind of rare, isn't it?
Would you like to know which artists I've chosen for this week?
Go on.
I've gone for 9% Heraclium, Rouge Island, Love Drawing, and Edo. So, old and new players there.
Okay, so they'll be inspiring each of the topics for the rounds. But if you want to see what the picture is and then have a guess as to what the round's going to be, you'll need to join us on Sunday at 7 p.m. UK.
Yeah, and if you join us on a Thursday, you get the Zeitgeist 20, which is 20 questions on one topic that we tell you about before.
What were we doing last week then?
Last week we were doing game shows around the world.
Yes. I like this. It was quite meta because we had a quiz show about game shows. I liked it.
Guess who won that one?
Go on.
It was Darth who won with 180 and Goose was second with 163, and then joint third were Jess and Blue Jay, 161.
Yeah, so there are only a couple of questions in it, really.
I know, yeah. We've got old shows, new shows all around the world. It was great.
Yeah, we had a bit of nostalgia, didn't we? Talking about things like the Crystal Maze, which was really big in the UK in the 90s, and still a bit now because they did a remake, new version of it, different host. So that was quite cool. We talked about
fun, wasn't it?
all kinds of different things. Yeah.
But next week, the topic will be Japan. 20 questions on Japan.
Okay. I feel like some of you will know a bit about that. I know a tiny bit, maybe. I feel like we might have had a regular Zeitgeist round, so just like a few questions on Japan before. But that
should be good.
Okay, I don't know how deep my knowledge is. We'll see. See.
Okay, so I think that's it for now. So just goes to say.
Yeah, if you're not already taking part in the game, then get involved. You can play it on the web at playinterference.com or download the Interference app from your app store. Just search for Interference. You can also get social with us. We're on Twitter at PlayIFX, on Facebook at PlayInterference, and we're on Patreon at patreon.com/interference. If you want to give us a bit of monthly support for the ongoing maintenance of the game, keep adding things into the apps, building new, cool, fun things for you. I got a fun thing that I want to build. Your support does really help us with that because it lets us pay the server bills and, buy food and stuff and feed cats.
Yeah.
Cats are expensive. I've just had to buy a £40 bag of cat food. Yes. So patrons get supporter status and interference. So you get things like replays, the fancier invite system. You can start challenge games now as well. And there's more stuff coming for supporters as well.
Cool. Okay, that's it for this week. So we'll see you again next Saturday.
Yep. Have a great week. We'll see you next Saturday.
Bye.
Bye.